All right, hey guys, so I just jumped back in the Jeep after a 20-mile bike ride, which was pretty awesome. It's overcast this morning. I drive out, and where I came to bike is probably about close to a half an hour from my house. But it's where I like to go. I like to go out on the Swamp Rabbit Trail and ride because it's the best place, in my opinion, for the rides I like to do if I'm doing it alone for a long ride. But anyway, so it's overcast. It was kind of sprinkling a little bit when I started this morning, and so not a big deal. I figure, it's going to be cool, it's going to be comfortable or whatever. A little bit of mist, a little bit of sprinkle is not going to be a big deal. So about 7-8 miles in or so, it started to really start raining. And I'm thinking, oh crap, I'm getting wet, it's cooling off. And so, the part of me is like, you know what, turn around, go back, just forget it. I had in my mind when I started this morning, I had made up my mind, today was going to be a 20-mile bike ride. I'd already set my expectation, set my standard before I even left the house this morning. Today was going to be a 20-mile bike ride. And then about 8 miles in, it starts to rain, and then it's kind of nasty, and so I start the normal things start to kick in. And so I was listening to this podcast yesterday, and a guy was talking about, well, I've got dirt all over the back of my neck from the tires slinging crap all over me. And anyway, so I was listening to this podcast yesterday, and it was guy was talking about how he keeps going and motivation and some of that stuff and pushing forward. And he said he always tries to think to himself, what would the average person do? And so in a lot of cases, when things get rough, when things get like that, when things get uncomfortable, the average person is going to quit. And so his point was, I think to myself, what would the average person do? And I do the opposite. And so that was my thing today as I was riding. What would the average person do? The average person would turn around and go back home. I don't want to be average, right? Sometimes average is okay, but I don't want to be average. So I kept riding, right? So I go and go and go. I hit my 10-mile mark, turn around and come back. The rain starts to pick up. I actually had a conference call that I had to do, so I stop. It starts to rain as I'm on the call, so I find a little covered shelter, pull over, do my call. It takes about 30 minutes, and about 5 minutes before the call is over, it starts just a torrential downpour. I mean, it is just pouring rain. The wind is blowing. It's freaking nasty, and I've got about 8 miles to go to get back to the Jeep to get home. So I have no choice but to keep going. So, two things. I've learned in training for some of these endurance events and just a lot of things in general, runs and bikes and things like that. One, I only have to commit to halfway. In my mind, initially, I only have to commit to halfway because I do an out and back, right? Because once I do that halfway, I don't have any choice but to go the rest, right? And two, and point of that is, sometimes you don't have to push for the end goal. Find shorter goals that are going to get you there, that aren't going to give you the option of cutting short. This is what I do. I commit. If I want to go long, I only have to commit to halfway, because then I have no options, right? I don't have the option to quit. I don't have the option to stop. If I want to get home, I got to go. I got to finish the other half. And two, be more than average. When things kind of suck, and the average person is going to stop, don't stop. Don't be average, right? So for me, I hit the point. I'm soaking wet. It might have been the fastest 8 miles I've ever ridden, because I was kind of booking it to get back. But then I hit a point of I'm already soaking wet, right? My socks are squishy, my clothes are soaked, water's dripping off of my helmet down in my face, and it hit me. I'm already like this. It's the rain is pouring on me. There's nothing I can do to change it. You know what? Enjoy it. I actually slowed down. Started to actually enjoy the ride. How many people are in a position where they would love to be out in the rain or doing something physical, or doing something active, and they can't? And so, you know, I'm out here, I'm blessed to be able to do that. And so it would be foolish of me and selfish of me not to enjoy it, not to take advantage of it, and not to, you know, get myself back to where I want to be and want to be happy. And so, that's kind of it for today. And in the end, I met a really nice guy. Rode the last couple of miles with him. One more poor soul out in the soaking, pouring rain, just like me. Which there were only a couple of us, which proves the point. The average person would not be out here doing what we're doing today. So anyway, I'm gonna go home, get on some dry clothes, get a shower, warm cup of coffee. We'll see you next time.